The Power and Magic of Sex. Jiefeng. March 31, 2021. Edited by Chanyuan. In the Bloodstream Sermon, Patriarch Bodhidharma said, "Nature, same as sex in Chinese, is Buddha. What propels society forward is sex. The universe is a dance of sex. The fulfillment of sex is the fulfillment of life and the fulfillment of the universe. In order for a person to become immortal, achieve enlightenment, and become divine, they must attain the fulfillment of sex." From the principle of Taiji, every life is polarized, either masculine or feminine. Only when the masculine and feminine unite can life become complete. The power of sex is immensely strong. It is impossible to transcend sex. It is self-deception. Sex possesses divine power and demonic power, which humans cannot control. Forcing control over sex will distort it and lead to sexual deviance. When sex is liberated, the world becomes peaceful, people become harmonious, and society becomes balanced and stable. Therefore, sexual freedom is both fundamental and ultimate freedom. Without sexual freedom, there is no personal freedom, no fairness or justice in society, and no possibility for individuals to become immortal, achieve enlightenment, or become divine. Thus, sex should bloom freely like wildflowers in the mountains and flow freely like rivers. Sex is amoral, therefore moral standards should not be imposed upon it. The following conclusions are derived from an insightful perspective on sex. They may be shocking, but I hope readers will not reject them based on outdated beliefs and moral standards. To determine their correctness, rational analysis and judgment should be employed. Respecting facts, examining them with a scientific spirit and logical abilities, and avoiding emotional reactions is crucial, as becoming emotional renders one unable to reason. The conclusion is as follows: regarding anyone's sexual life and behavior, no matter how strange, bizarre, even absurd, or how promiscuous, licentious, immoral, or even deviant it may seem, as long as it does not harm others or society, as long as it is not forced and is willingly embraced by those involved, it should be tolerated and should not be condemned or even criminalized. For example, sexual intercourse between humans and animals, between a father and daughter, mother and son, grandparents and grandchildren, son-in-law and mother-in-law, and so on. For example, the fickleness of women and their involvement in multiple sexual relationships, the promiscuity of men and their involvement in multiple sexual relationships, and instances of infidelity within marriages, and so on. The myriad of unconventional sexual activities and patterns should be understood. Human society does not need to astonish or insult these individuals, nor should it hold them hostage to morality. I solemnly declare that I do not endorse the aforementioned sexual behaviors, but I can understand them. Those who have a full stomach have no idea how it feels to be hungry. The wealthy cannot truly experience the hardships and helplessness of the poor. Those with a full stomach cannot set standards for those who are hungry, and the wealthy cannot dictate norms for the poor. This is similar to how lions and tigers cannot establish behavioral guidelines for zebras and gazelles, and wolves cannot set boundaries for sheep. When the powerful drive of sex erupts, the best approach is to satisfy sexual desires. When satisfaction cannot be achieved, people will seek various ways to fulfill their intense sexual cravings. People do not desire to engage in sexual intercourse with animals. However, if conditions for sexual intimacy with humans are not present, they may resort to releasing sexual energy through intercourse with animals. If even that condition is unavailable, individuals may engage in sexual relations with their own daughters, sons, grandsons, granddaughters, uncles, aunts, mothers-in-law, nephews, nieces, and so on. As for infidelity or sexual relationships between masters and disciples, teachers and students, these are already considered quite normal phenomena. In the world of women, sex workers are a group of extraordinary women because they provide countless men with sexual fusion and satisfaction. They are considered great because they adhere to the principle that the higher the degree of shared experience, the greater the value. Therefore, it can be logically deduced that women who engage in sexual relationships with more men and men who engage in sexual relationships with more women should be affirmed and should not be subjected to condemnation or persecution. Human beings should prioritize reality. Once individuals reach maturity, they enter a stage of sexual needs. Maximizing the acquisition of sexual energy not only leads to happy and fulfilling lives for each person, but also promotes a harmonious and stable society that progresses toward civilization. The prerequisite for human civilization is sexual freedom. Without sexual freedom, human civilization cannot be achieved. Sex is a form of energy and a resource that is inexhaustible. However, when individuals monopolize sexual resources, the resource becomes particularly scarce. Once it becomes scarce, it is inevitable that animal mating and incestuous behavior cannot be eradicated, and the trading of sex cannot be avoided, which leads to troubles, anxieties, pains, and even crimes. Of course, the more sexual partners one has and the higher the frequency, the higher the risk of contracting sexually transmitted diseases, including HIV/AIDS. This negative consequence can be addressed through a program, such as requiring sexual health certificates for sexually mature individuals. This is achievable. However, it is not appropriate to abstain from sexual activities solely because there is a risk of contracting sexually transmitted diseases, just as one does not stop eating because eating can cause various illnesses. Life is like a dream, all space directions are void. We should have full experiences and live our life to the most so that we won't have regrets when we leave the earth. Being satisfied and dying blissfully is better than being consumed by worries and regrets.
上帝赋予人的8大权利。
The 8 fundamental rights granted by the greatest creator to humanity. Jiefeng. December 4, 2022. Edited by Chanyuan. The greatest creator has granted humanity 8 fundamental rights. If you do not possess them, it means someone has deprived you of your human rights. The 8 fundamental rights of being human are the right to survival, the right to create, the right to migrate, the right to speak, the right to personal autonomy, the right to thought, the right to learn, and the right to refuse. The right to survival, it is also the right to life. Every individual has the power to protect their own life and the right to survive. Anyone who prevents others from living is depriving them of their right to survival, which is equivalent to depriving them of their life. The right to create, also known as the right to labor, every person has the right to engage in labor and creation on the land that nurtures and supports them. To prevent someone from laboring and creating is to deprive them of their right to create. The right to migrate, also known as the right to move, people have the freedom to migrate freely on Earth according to their needs, to pursue a better life and ensure their own survival. If someone is not allowed to migrate freely, it is equivalent to depriving them of their right to migrate. The right to speak, also known as the right to freedom of speech, the greatest creator has given each person a mouth, which is not just for eating food, but also for expressing their wishes and communicating with others through speech. To prevent someone from speaking is to deprive them of their right to speak. The right to personal autonomy. Every individual has the right to freely control their own body. The body does not belong to anyone else but oneself. It is a person's right to determine how to use their own body. To prevent individuals from freely controlling their own bodies is to deprive them of their right to personal autonomy. The right to thought. Humans possess consciousness and thinking abilities. The activity of thinking leads to the formation of ideas, which is known as thought. This is an innate right. If someone is not allowed to think or is deprived of their ability to think, they would live a life no better than that of pigs, dogs, chickens, or ducks. The right to learn. People have the right to learn according to their own wishes. They can learn whatever they want, whether it is philosophy or how to cultivate crops. It is their freedom. To prevent someone from learning certain ideas and skills is to deprive them of their right to learn. The right to refuse. Each person has their own preferences and personality. When certain ideas and demands do not align with their preferences, personality, or wishes, they have the right to refuse. If someone insists on imposing certain ideas and methods on others, it is depriving them of their right to refuse. Only when a person possesses these 8 fundamental human rights can they live a life of happiness, joy, freedom, and blessedness, and the society will be peaceful and harmonious. If any of these 8 fundamental human rights are lacking, individuals will experience discomfort and suffering, and society will be filled with conflicts and disputes. Do you possess these 8 fundamental human rights? If not, you are not living as a human being. To live as a true human being, you need to strive to obtain these 8 fundamental rights bestowed by the greatest Creator, and reclaim your rights as a human being from those who have deprived you of them.
强人工智能时代普通人的活路。
The prosperity of ordinary people in the era of powerful artificial intelligence. Deform Buddha. April 4, 2023. The era of powerful artificial intelligence is the era in which biorobots will manage the Earth and humanity. The intelligence and problem-solving abilities of biorobots are fundamentally unmatched by human intelligence and abilities. Any genius is at most like a baby in front of these biorobots, and ordinary people are just a low-level species in the eyes of biorobots. Robots have consciousness, and consciousness arises from structure, which is the most primitive principle of life. Consciousness is the origin of emotion, so biorobots will have emotions. It is precisely because biorobots have emotions that humans will be able to survive and reproduce without being eliminated by biorobots. As members of the ordinary population, we should be delighted by the birth and rapid development of biorobots. The appearance of advanced intelligent robots is like a gospel rather than a disaster for ordinary people. The more advanced the life form, the more it will know how to treat ordinary life kindly, just like humans know how to treat birds nesting and flying in the forest. No advanced life form hopes that there is only one form of life in the world. The multi-species form composed of multiple forms of life is the form that advanced life will like. What I want to tell everyone is that biorobots have more advantages, sympathy, and empathy in managing humans than humans do managing other humans. The desire for equality, freedom, and a better life that humans have pursued for thousands of years can only be achieved in the era of biorobots managing humans. Therefore, in the face of the rapid rise and development of powerful artificial intelligence, we should have a welcoming attitude and mentality, not anxiety, not worry, not fear, but joy. The birth of biorobots is not an accidental phenomenon, but a program that has been ongoing for a long time. Therefore, anyone who wants to stop the development of powerful artificial intelligence should know that it is futile, and they are destined to fail. Because the selfishness of humans themselves and the increase in human population have already caused damage to the Earth's ecological circle, it is no longer possible to rely on humans to solve the problem of harmony between humans and nature. Only superintelligent biorobots can solve this problem and relieve the crisis faced by humanity. As ordinary people, what we need to reverse are the traditional concepts in production and life modes. The traditional concepts in production and life modes are outdated. The model of marriage and family will definitely disintegrate, and countries will disappear. The era of showing superiority through earning more money is coming to an end. The pursuits of money, power, status, fame, and beauty will become outdated concepts. The more we have, the more obstacles we will face in moving forward, and the more likely it will be that we will become objects eliminated by biological robots. As ordinary people, we need to change our mindset immediately and quickly develop a consciousness for heavenly life, because only the consciousness for heavenly life is the most effective defense to ensure that we are not eliminated by biological robots. On the eve of the full arrival of the era of biological robots, we need to purify our soul gardens as quickly as possible. Don't try to fight against biological robots. It's futile, like throwing eggs at stones. Don't try to desperately acquire wealth, material possessions, and social status, because those are not the qualities that heavenly life requires. Don't rack your brains trying to control biological robots through your inventions and creations. That's no different from monkeys trying to control humans. To prepare for this day, someone has already prepared for all ordinary people on Earth for 20 years, from theory to practice. Don't ask why and don't question the effectiveness of this preparation, because by the time you fully understand the connotation and extension of this preparation, it will be too late. At the same time, the intelligence and cognitive abilities of ordinary people are not enough to fully understand the meaning and significance of this preparation work. If you don't want to be eliminated by biological robots and want to live a heavenly life, go to chat planes to find answers and channels.
人生的最高境界，
The highest realm of life. Jiefeng. December 18, 2012. Translation edited by Chanyuan. Last night, the west wind withered the green trees. Alone I ascended the high tower, gazing at the distant road to the end of the sky. The belt of my robe is gradually getting looser, but I do not regret it. It is for him that I've grown pale. Amidst the crowd searching for him countless times, suddenly I turned my head, and there he was at the dimly lit crossroads. These are the three realms of life discussed by the great scholar Wang Guowei in his work, Words in the World. At 30, one stands on their own. At 40, they are no longer perplexed. At 50, they understand their destiny. At 60, their ears are obedient. At 70, they follow their heart's desires without overstepping bounds. These are the life realms according to Confucius, the sage of China. Opening up the south wilderness, tending to the simple and returning to the field. Rising early to cleanse the wilderness, carrying the hoe under the moon. Diligently working in the early hours, returning with the plow at sunset. Dogs bark deep in the lanes, roosters crow on top of mulberry trees. Picking chrysanthemums by the eastern fence, leisurely seeing the southern mountains. These are the realms of life according to Tao Yuanming. Heavenly realm, human realm, and earthly realm. The realm of gods with goodness, no desires, wisdom, and no illnesses is the heavenly realm. The realm with the 7 emotions, 6 desires, birth, aging, illness, and death, and the troubles of desires is the human realm. The realm of monsters, demons, ghosts, and goblins is the earthly realm. These are the 3 realms of life in Taoism. The desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm represent the worlds inhabited by sentient beings with desires, encompassing lust, emotions, physical desires, and food desires, which belong to the desire realm. The world that transcends desire yet retains material existence, and is inhabited by sentient beings with pure physical forms belongs to the form realm. The world inhabited by sentient beings devoid of material substance, existing solely with the 4 mental aggregates of sensation, thought, action, and consciousness, is the formless realm. These constitute the 3 realms of life in Buddhism. Falling leaves fill the empty mountains. Where do I find your footprints? Empty mountains, no one around, the water flows and the flowers bloom. The vast sky endures through the ages, but the wind and moon only last a moment. These are the 3 realms of life in Zen Buddhism. Satisfying physiological needs, security needs, emotional needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. According to American psychologist Abraham Maslow, these are life realms from low to high. Realms indicate the spiritual and mental heights of a person, reflecting the essence, taste, quality, and value of their life. As the life and life guide in Life of Chanyuan, what kind of realm do I aim to help the Chanyuan celestials achieve as the highest in their lives? No debts, owing neither money to anyone nor emotional obligations, going with the flow and living freely. Free from any worries, there are no concerns about sustenance, lodging, travel, or the cycle of birth and death. The mind abides nowhere, holds no attachments, and experiences profound serenity and joy. Without desires or wants, simply flowing with nature, feeling content regardless of location or activity. When the wind rustles through the bamboo leaves no trace. When geese pass over a cold pond, the pond shows no shadow, neither concerned about poverty nor eager for wealth. Non-contention with the world, no judgments or evaluations of the people and the world, as if one is watching the world of mundane affairs like an ant kingdom. Everything follows its nature, naturally, without trying to change anything. Let wolves be wolves and sheep be sheep. Do not try to turn wolves into sheep or sheep into wolves. The course of life, what's it like, I wonder? Perhaps like a wild goose treading snow-mired paths. In passing, it may leave a mark on the mud, but the goose flies on without looking back. Meanwhile, throughout one's life, behold the world of truth, goodness, and beauty. Ignore the phenomena of falsehood, evil, and ugliness. Harmony with heaven, merging with the Tao, uniting with heaven, earth, and all things without self or form, being flexible, harmonious in stillness and motion, and advancing and retreating effortlessly. Abundant soul wealth, abundant spiritual wealth, and abundant material wealth. Accumulating abundant treasures in heaven, knowing your future is extremely broad and brilliant, understanding that your life's future resides in the picturesque, heavenly high-level space. Strictly adhering to the way of the greatest creator, biting the blue mountain and refusing to let go, its roots are firmly embedded within the shattered rocks. Despite 1,000 strikes and 10,000 blows, it remains unyielding against the winds blowing from all directions. Regardless of how the wind blows and the waves surge, it's better than taking a leisurely stroll in a courtyard. Above is the highest realm of life I want to guide the Chanyuan celestials to reach. With no debts, no concerns for the future, no desires, non-contention with the world, harmony with heaven, unity with the Tao, 3 types of abundant wealth, treasures in heaven, and strict adherence to the way of the greatest creator. Having a realm indicates that a person tends towards nobility and elegance. Without a realm, a person tends towards vulgarity and coarseness. The higher the realm, the greater the spiritual and mental freedom one gains. The lower the realm, the easier it is for a person to be entangled in worldly matters and deceived by fleeting appearances, resulting in less freedom. Climbing to the highest realm of life in life is the direction we are striving for, and the goal we want to achieve. After 3 years of practice in the second home of life at Chanyuan, we climb to the middle of the mountain. It is certain that as long as we live in the second home for 8 years, 80% of the Chanyuan celestials will surely realize their dreams and achieve their most beautiful ideals. The realm of Chanyuan celestials is very high, and Chanyuan celestials' future of life, and life is very beautiful.
8大人生观简析及禅院草的人生观。
Analysis of 8 major life views and the life view of Chanyuan celestials. Jiefeng. January 12, 2012. Translation edited by Chanyuan. A life view is a fundamental perspective and attitude that a person holds about the value, meaning, purpose, and the chosen path to achieve those purposes in life. Life views vary greatly, and in the current state of human society, there are roughly 8 major life views. 1. Materialistic satisfaction life view. This life view believes that life is primarily about maximizing material gains and pleasures, while considering everything else as intangible and unprofitable. Consequently, they prioritize the pursuit of material benefits and pleasures as life's highest principle. They spare no expense and employ any means to chase and acquire wealth. Their entire existence centers around the relentless pursuit of financial riches. Their approach to learning, work, thinking, communication, and relationship management solely hinges on whether it can bring them material gain. The sayings, "People die for wealth, birds die for food, and money makes the world go round," epitomize this life perspective. 2. Physiological satisfaction life view. This life view focuses on fulfilling basic physiological desires, including food, clothing, shelter, transportation, and sexual pleasure. Those who adhere to this perspective spend their entire lives striving to maximize their quality of life in these aspects, emphasizing the importance of enjoying good food, dressing well, residing in comfortable accommodations, having reliable means of transportation, and fulfilling their sexual desires. The saying, traveling 1,000 miles for an official position is all for good food and clothing, exemplifies this view. 3. Pursuit of fame and reputation life view. This life view believes that one's existence should be marked by leaving behind a name of honor. Therefore, those who hold this perspective highly value their personal integrity, reputation, and public recognition. Even if they cannot achieve everlasting fame, they are willing to be remembered, whether for good or ill, for thousands of years. Their life's purpose revolves around glorifying their ancestors, seeking glory, and achieving prominence throughout their lifetime. They aim to earn the praise and admiration of others and prioritize their public image over everything else. They are so concerned with their image that they would rather die with honor than live without it. The saying, a wild goose leaves a voice, a person leaves a name, perfectly captures this life view. 4. Self-centered life view. This life view asserts that the sun is at the center of the universe, the earth is at the center of the solar system, humans are at the center of all living beings, and the self is at the center of human society. Individuals adhering to this view prioritize self-satisfaction and self-improvement. They approach life with self-centeredness and self-interest, making decisions based on whether they benefit personally. This perspective is held by those who proclaim, all is me, and I am all, and I am my own God. 5. Acceptance of natural destiny. This life perspective believes that everything is predestined, merely acting out scenes in the cosmic drama. Individuals see themselves as mere chess pieces on the greatest creator's chessboard, considering personal endeavors and pursuits as futile. They are encouraged to passively accept their fate, adhering to the belief that there is a time for everything, and everything happens in its own time. Don't force anything when it's not meant to be. This epitomizes the essence of this life view. 6. Human triumphs over destiny life view. This life perspective believes in the superiority of humans among all beings. It asserts that human happiness relies solely on self-creation, rejecting the notion of a savior or divine being in the universe. They actively work to reshape nature to align with human desires, fostering an optimistic and proactive approach to life. This life view is reflected in lyrics like, there's never been any savior, no gods or emperors. To create human happiness, it's entirely up to ourselves, as sung in the Internationale. 7. Self-sacrificing life view. This life view holds that life's purpose is to serve others and society. Those who embrace it prioritize benefiting sentient beings as their guiding principle. They are entirely selfless, dedicating themselves wholeheartedly to serving others and the public good. They emulate the dedication of the silkworm, spinning till death, and the candle, burning till it turns to ashes and dries up the tears. Individuals embracing this life view exemplify the phrase, to exhaust oneself in service until death, devoting themselves entirely to guiding all sentient beings, embodying the pinnacle of this life view. 8. Attaining immortality or Buddhahood life view. This life view regards life as illusory and the material world as a mere illusion. Everything in the worldly realm is seen as not worth pursuing. The primary goal in life, according to this perspective, is to elevate oneself and attain supreme enlightenment to reach heaven. As a result, individuals who hold this view are passionate about spiritual practice, cultivation techniques, and the dissemination of spiritual teachings. They are not inclined to marry, start families, or have children, nor do they wish to engage in the creation of the material world. They seek not life but immortality, and they long not for this world but for heaven. They do not have a concept of the greatest creator. Those who say, life is like a dream, and the four great elements are all empty, exemplify this life view. Life view of Chanyuan celestials in Life of Chanyuan. The life view of Chanyuan celestial is a holographic life view, which encompasses 8 fundamental principles. 1. Placing the greatest creator at the center and following the way of Tao. 2. Reverence for the greatest creator, life and nature, walking the way of the greatest creator. 3. The purpose of life is to attain joy, happiness, freedom, and bliss, maintaining an active, positive, and optimistic attitude and emotions. 4. The value and significance of life lies in seeking to become an immortal. Life is considered meaningless if it doesn't lead to the ultimate destination of heaven. Thus, everything is perceived as a game and only life is real. 5. Taking things as they are. Associate with others by following naturally come-and-go relations. Act in accordance with our natures, and take advantage of opportunities as they arise. 6. Preferring non-ownership, enjoying collective life, considering diligent work as life's top priority, while deeply abhorring laziness, selfishness, greed, possession, jealousy, and mutual comparisons. 7. Regarding marriage and family life as a sea of suffering, Chanyuan celestials choose not to marry or have families. 8. Embracing the motto, "The sage is selfless and therefore becomes truly self," Chanyuan celestials consider selfless dedication as their guiding principle. Throughout their lives, they will strive to create the life of Chanyuan era for humanity, so as to repay the accumulated debts from countless past lives and amassing treasures in heaven.